So my God, Jig, your team is ahead now.
Wala na murag murag mo na
So
ni siya pero ang kanang injury ni ba Achilles tendon is it related
yeah,
to his
yeah.
injury ba? He suffered in game 6 ba? This is related, right?
No, it was a calf injury, Jig.
Okay. So
But you know,
dili ni siya related. Is it in the same foot?
well, the doctors will always say that everything is interconnected.
No, but what
So
I
like,
mean is was it directly related? Is it on the same foot?
I think yeah, it's the left leg ni sa Jing niya. Sumpay mo gud na. So I think if one gives, di ba?
Oh.
Ang load sa weight pa.
And sometimes also kung ang usa ka leg may injured mo compensate ang usa, di ba? So that can also be
Yes, yes,
what's
yes,
happening, right?
yes.
But the score, although labaw kayo ang Oklahoma City Thunder, this is not insurmountable. In fact, this is a lead that the Indiana Pacers usually are behind in the games that they come from behind, right?
Yeah,
93 Oklahoma City Thunder, 81 Indiana. Go ahead.
but that's with Hali in the game.
Yeah, okay.
Hali is the
Ayay.
master.
Mura na kag nangayo nag-excuse da sa pagpildi sa kwanda sa Indiana da. Kay kana ra ba si kung ako say patubago na kana si Halliburton dilim ko na siya kaning consistent usay mo to nga usay dili. So think of this game as wa siya ni tunga siya kariot. But seriously now. Okay.
Yeah. I would have to beg to disagree, Jig, because
Okay.
Game 7, mo goodbye. It all boils down to execution.
Okay.
You know, you can say you can make. Apparently, they are very balanced and well matched because they won 3 games apiece.
Okay.
They did all the adjustments. You can do all your pre-game warm-ups or coaching strategies, but it all comes down to execution in a Game 7, Jigs. And then if he's not there on the floor, then he can't help his team.
Correct. Yeah, and I think that would have been the perfect kaning how do you call this strategy ba nga kung nangigo si Tyrese Halliburton early in the game, that means nga defense will collapse on him, di ba? Imagine the opportunities that his other teammates would have had he been playing still, right?
That's correct, Jig. And I think he had 2 3-pointers before he exited.
Okay.
But like I always tell you, injuries are part of the game.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not an excuse. It's not a crutch. It's just the way it is.
Mhm.
Kung nahitabo sabi sa pikas ni SJA, then he probably would have lost.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
You know, somebody told me earlier. I asked him about the game, and then ingon siya, this is like the Heat versus Mavericks Game 7 all over again with the same coach when Rick Carlisle coached the Dallas Mavericks when Dirk Nowitzki was still playing, and then they were playing against the Heat. This was before he found out. Before the game started, I mean, the only championship of the Dallas Mavericks, right? Against the Heat ba to ilang kontra?
Yes.
So
yes,
he compared it to this game. Unta ato kung pa na injured si Tyrese Halliburton. This could have been an upset too.
Yeah, in a way, kung nindaog pa na yung Pacers. But I think that was a bigger upset, Jig, because Dirk was up against LeBron.
Yeah, wasn't he the MVP during that season?
Yes,
Dirk?
the NBA Finals MVP siya. I don't know who was the MVP of that.
Dili siya regular season MVP ato?
I'm not
season?
so sure. Not so sure, but that was the bigger upset to me. That's LeBron.
So 1 minute and 51 seconds remaining. It's just a 10-point lead. Again, Indiana Pacers standards. This is very surmountable pa ni siya.
Yeah, but I guess it's mathematically possible, but you have to have the proper manpower there. But Hali, he's a specialist in these kinds of situations, Jig. Without him, I don't think they can pull this off with a minute left. And most of his teammates did not show up in the third quarter. Itong nalubong silang 20. I saw that it was only TJ McConnell who was fighting for them, and then si Mathurin and Nemhart missed a lot of shots. Nesmith, yes.
SGA, he has 28 points, while CJ Dub has 17 points as Oklahoma City Thunder with 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Labaw sila og 12 puntos, 98 Oklahoma City Thunder, Indiana Pacers 86. Ang injury ni Tyrese Halliburton, I hope is not kaning serious. I hope nga he can bounce back. Kanang magong Achilles injury, murag kinumdum ko mo man ni injury po ni Kobe Bryant late in his career, di ba? Kanang Achilles niya, di ba? Mo yung Achilles heel niya, ang Achilles. So I hope this is not nothing
that's
serious, right?
usually mga out di ka na half a year, Jig.
Mm. Oh my
And
goodness.
then like si kinumdum ko ni Dominic Wilkins,
Mm.
the human highlight reel.
Yeah.
He was never the same player after that.
Yeah.
He lost the lift that he needed for his dunks.
Yeah, that's kaning just as an aside, but there was a huge news in the NBA when Kevin Durant was finally traded from the Phoenix Suns to the
Rockets.
Houston Rockets in favor of Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks of the Houston Rockets as they've moved to the Suns, right? What are your thoughts on this seismic trade, attorney? Go ahead.
If we look at it first, Jig, from the prism of the Rockets, uh, they did well, very, very, very well. Although they lost Jalen Green is an insanely athletic young prospect, no? But of course, if you have to get somebody like Kevin Durant, you have to give up something substantial.
Hmm.
So, and you remember they were the second seed this season,
Okay.
and they made it all the way to the semifinals. So, and they just need somebody like Kevin Durant, who's easily still a top 10 or 12 player in this league, who has won championships, who has been the finals MVP, who can give them leadership, and he can. I think he can play alongside Eamon Thompson and Alpern Sengun. I think it's a win-win for both teams. If we look at it from the point of view of kasi nila lang get-trade, the Suns, uh, okay po because sometimes magod duplication magod leads to underperformance. Like the Suns had two great scorers in Durant and Devin Booker, and but essentially they do the same things on the court, Jig.
Mm.
No? They shoot well, they come off screens, but they don't really play good defense, and they're not very physical. So on the other hand, the Suns get Jalen, who is, as I said, very athletic, brings a lot of youth and energy to their team. And I think he can play well alongside Devin Booker, who is more of a shooter. Jalen Green is more of a penetrator, and then of course he's a high flyer. So I think it's a win-win for both, Jig. Because Jig, what do you think, Jig?
The biggest kaning a number that I see here is that Kevin Durant is already 37 years old. Man, yes, ah?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I didn't realize. I thought nga si Kevin Durant medyo bata-bata pa na siya kay I haven't seen him that long kay murag feeling na ko tabok-tabok man siya lain-lain lang team, di ba? Di kay ko ka feel good asa na siya nagdugay ba. So the Phoenix Suns experiment did not work. The New Jersey Nets experiment did not work. Now he's moved to the Houston Rockets with a coach that was just signed, renewed, di ba? Si Udoka, murag na-sign man siya, resign man nila.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he's now part of an elite squad of coaches who make that much money, right? Murag pila kay sweldo ato niyang ni Udoka, murag grabe kayo ang iyang sweldo aning kontrataha. So that's actually there are only a few coaches who make that much money. So
Right.
I guess the Houston Rockets are trading to win now, di ba? They're trading to win now. And I think kana nga the idea, the possibility of being able to win now is very tempting. So they had to pull the trigger and start start this deal, right? But in terms of kaning their long term uh, uh, success, but do you think Kevin Durant still has some gas left in the tank?
Yes, Jig. I think he's still averaging the same as what he averaged when he played for the Warriors. 26 something,
Mm.
26 and change.
Yeah. Oh.
So, and somebody like Kevin Durant, who's not very athletic, uh, I think can play well until maybe barring no injury,
Mm.
he can still play like 4 or 5 years more because
Wow.
he's
Okay.
like more of a catch and shoot type of player,
Mm.
Jig. No, he doesn't really go inside, bumping and grinding.
Mm.
Uh, he can preserve himself more
Mm.
with this type of play. That would be like Paul George who likes to attack
Mm.
or yung mga contemporary ba?
Mm.
Like LeBron James is of course he's an immortal, no?
Mm.
He's sui generis, he's on a different level. But yung mga
Non-human.
kabatch niya, yeah,
Mm.
he's inhuman.
Mm.
So, ang ubang mga kabatch niya, mas, I think, ma-pro na, Paul George is not the same player he was.
Correct. Yeah. And
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 then,
one of the
even
things that they say about Kevin Durant is that mura siya og brittle siya ba kay daot man siya niya taas, di ba? 7-footer gyud siya practically. But dugay-dugay naman na siya sa NBA, murag he has not had a season-ending injury, right? Wala man gyud siya injury nga murag
correct, oh, remember, Jig, ang iyang partner in crime sa OKC, si Westbrook, di ba?
correct. Oo.
Westbrook is like
Physical.
75% na lang of himself.
Oh.
In fact, he's a bench player now. I mean,
Oh.
I think
Role player
his
na lang siya. Oh.
averages, yeah, his averages went down. But
Mm.
because Kevin Durant he's like a perfect plug-in. You plug him in, he's ready to play
Mm.
with any team, Jig.
Correct.
Any
Pero wala,
style,
pero what makes you
any
think
style.
nga makadaog sila nga New Jersey failed the Kevin Durant experiment. The Suns did not succeed in that experiment. So what makes the Houston Rockets different? But before you answer that question, the final score is 103 OKC, Indiana 91. So finally, we have an NBA champion. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the champions of the NBA finals of this season, this year, right? Imo ang tanaw ba before let's just set that let's table that question, okay? But what does this mean to the NBA nga ang duha ka mga protagonists sa NBA finals murag none of the big markets, of the big names of the NBA, right? Oklahoma City Thunder and Indiana Pacers. Kaning Oklahoma City Thunder medyo bago-bago pa man siya nga team, di ba? Has never won an NBA championship. Kaning Indiana pod wala po ni nakadaog in the NBA era. Nakadaog kuno ni siya og championships during the ABA era, right? So wala pa ni sila NBA championships ang duha ka teams. What does this mean to the NBA? Does this signal a kind of a seismic shift nga ang mga small towns, small markets magsugod-sugod na og rise above the NBA? Does this mean nga ang ato ang mga teams ron maayo na pagabahig nga ang mga teams ron maayo na pagabahig nga dili na siya unequal? What are your thoughts on the meaning of the finals of the NBA?
I cannot say that, Jig. I think it's a very small sample size for
Okay.
us. It's just this year. No? We will see if it's a trend, if the same thing happens next year. But to your point, and I agree, in terms of style of play, and this is good. We are seeing a shift from we used to have the big threes, big twos, where, as you said, what happened with the Kevin Durant experiment,
Mm.
where team owners would invest a lot in acquiring superstars, and they think that they could just get two or three names, and usually, those were the big market teams who could afford those
Mhm.
things, like Boston. They got Kyrie for a while, no, and then the Nets, no? That's Brooklyn, but of course that put na, and then of course the Lakers, no, they got LeBron, they got Luca. but this is good for the NBA in the sense that I think it harkens back to the style of the 80s, where it was more of a team play. You pass the ball more. You're less superstar dependent. Like, of course, SGA is now a superstar, Jig, diba? Ato maning, remember
Mm,
we agreed that before we will adorn him the moniker of a superstar,
mm,
he had to win the title first.
mm.
Okay?
So
So karon
nan
pa ni siya karon pa siya na superstar, Jig, di ba?
okay, okay.
Technically.
Yeah.
Then sa may second guy niya, they're not superstars.
Mm.
Holmgren is a second year player or third year player.
Well, J Dub
So
is his Scottie Pippen. People are saying.
yeah, but still they're not on the level of a like who Westbrook was when he played alongside uh, Durant, no?
You
He
know,
was another
you mentioned
big
earlier,
two.
Banga, this is good for the NBA nga, na ay mga smaller market teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Indiana Pacers, and dili sila the usual protagonists of the NBA, you know, the big guns like the Celtics and the Lakers, right? But they're
Correct.
saying the ratings have had a considerable drop in the NBA finals. Mura gamay ra kayong nananaw ani nga duaa. So how is this good for the NBA? Nga importante mo sa gayo kay negosyo sa guning NBA. Pag human mura gamay ra kayong nananaw sa NBA finals, unlike when there is the big market teams like for example kanang mga New York and Boston and Lakers, murag wala kayo viewership aning nga finals. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when you put it that way, I agree. The from the economic side, NBA will take a hit because
Mm.
the NBA, after all, is a business and it's a superstar-driven sport.
Mhm.
It's a spectator sport, manggunay ang basketball.
Mhm.
And then, but you know how it is what it is. Some every year you can't expect the big teams to always win the chip.
Mhm.
Uh, Mabitaw na ako sa high, they have this, if you believe the conspiracy theorists, where they always say that the referees will favor the Lakers
Mhm.
or the Celtics because apparently that's what they want. They want the big names to be there. So like when people watch the games, they see somebody like LeBron James or Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic, who was in the finals last year.
Mm.
But it is what it is, Jake. Otherwise, you will ruin the product.
Correct.
No?
Yeah.
In a way, it says that it democratizes everything. It's meritocracy once again. The best players make it, and you have to deal with it. Okay, kasi si SJ Mangod, he's not a very flamboyant guy.
Mm.
He doesn't talk a lot on the media. He just smiles a lot. He has very little social media presence. So, but hopefully, that's on him. No, I
Mhm.
mean he can leverage that to get more endorsements, more deals. The sky's the limit for this guy now.
Or
So
or
we'll
maybe a
see.
big market team like the when uh, Durant and Westbrook were poached from from OKC and played
Oh,
for other teams too, right? Kani bang pagkadauga ba sa OKC pa? I'm sure for the Indiana fans and especially you being an Indiana Pacers fan, Torne, nani asterisk, di ba? Nakadaog lang niya OKC kay na injured si Tyrese Halliburton, right? Tanaw ni mo ani, what is the
uh,
likelihood of kay kanim kong NBA
asterisks.
grabe medyo ka ini ang luck ba that plays in any basketball game ba, especially kung at this level, grabe kay kadako ang factor sa luck. So imo tanaw ba, what is the likelihood of
Uh,
this finals repeating in next season's NBA? Granting
oh,
Halliburton is
uh,
healthy again.
well, let me address the injury issue first, because but that's totally unfair, of course. But if you come to think of it, now that you brought it up,
Okay.
interestingly, they defeated the Jamorant team first round, Memphis Grizzlies, and Jamorant had an injury in the fourth game,
Okay.
but that was just one game, diba?
Okay.
So, and then they defeated Timberwolves.
Mm.
Wala injury ato, but remember, Steph had an injury
You mean
which allowed
Steph?
Steph Curry.
Okay,
Mo nang nidaog ang Timberwolves because Steph had an injury.
okay, okay,
So if you wanna spin it that way,
okay.
and then plus karon na na-injured po si Halley.
Mm,
Oh. But that's totally fair. Parang ginako, injuries are part of the game.
mm.
So tama na. It's like what happened to the Warriors, diba? Katong Durant was out, and then that's why the Raptors won their only title. That's part of the game.
Kaning
So
sneakiness ni Slick Rick ba? Kaning sneakiness sa ilang game ba sa Indiana
mm,
Pacers? Do you think they can run it back, or the NBA will be totally different now, especially with the Kevin Durant trade? Kay kanay magong mga trade good, di ba? Kung naay kaning superstar nga i-trade, moram nag-domino effect, di ba? Daghang kayong maipiktuhan na mga teams mukalit like adjust sa ilahang mga players pud, and so on and so forth. It will instigate, it'll start a cascade of other trades as well. So do you think they can still run it back, and or that the NBA will be totally different in the next season because of the Kevin Durant and Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks trade?
I think they can still run it back. The only thing is, everybody's onto them now. No? I mean, they know their style now. They're gonna hang around and then make a move in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So it's gonna be difficult to run it back exactly the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this Pacers team are the greatest overachievers this season, Jake.
Okay, okay.
They have been overachieving for almost every series. No? And it's a tough act to follow if you can do it again next year.
So it's even
The Thunder,
tough for them. Even
yes, yes.
tough for
Yeah.
Chris Rick Carlisle to
With the
repeat.
injury pa ni Halley. No?
Mm.
And then, to your point, as you said, that Kevin Durant trade will lead to more trades. In fact, I don't think the Suns are done with their move, because when they got Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, I think they got five picks, second round picks,
Mm-hmm.
and then one first round pick. I think they're not that making moves. I could still, they probably trade Dylan Brooks. I mean, they're retooling, they're rebuilding. So to your point, it will lead to more disruption in across the NBA.
Mm.
But for the Pacers, I don't think they really have to make any huge moves, Jig. They just have to be consistent, and they have to decide what kind of team are they.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you cannot just win all your games, no, nga makachamba kahit sa kag-tres at the last 1 minute of the, you can't, it's not sustainable, Jig.
Correct. Yeah.
No? They have to find their culture, their pace, what their team character is.
Mm. Yeah, you're right. Right. I mean, although Kanisa Rick Carlisle is a relatively older coach, right? The team is very very young, right? I mean, pare-pareho lang sila edad siguro sa OKC in terms of average age, diba? So this is also still a team looking for its identity, right?
Yeah, very young team.
And then
But the upside is so big, huh?
mm, and it was looking like si Tyrese Halliburton na ilahang character, diba? Murag he was the embodiment of who they were, diba?
Yes, Jig. Yes, Jig.
And
It was the machine that ran the engine.
yeah, and speaking of kaning seismic changes ba, we forgot to mention that the biggest, most seismic change in the NBA was not Kevin Durant's trade to the Houston Rockets. It is actually the purchase of the Los Angeles Lakers to the LA Dodgers, right? Which is a huge,
Oh yeah,
huge news, right? What are your thoughts on this matter, Torne? Kanay magong Lakers good. They're saying they're the last moms and pops basketball team. Although they've accomplished so many great things, you know, they've won so many championships since Jerry Buss purchased the Los Angeles Lakers back in the 80s. I think it was 86 or 87 for at a tune of I think $46 million. I think or something to that effect. I think they've already won 11 championships if I'm not mistaken. So grabe kayo ni ka overachieving in the sense nga they're the last moms and pops basketball team in the NBA. Most of the basketball teams in the NBA are owned by conglomerates, by corporations. Kaning
Yes, Jing.
NBA Los Angeles Lakers family owned business gyapon ni until now nga gipalit sa LA Dodgers. What are your thoughts on what that means to the Lakers fans, and to the NBA at large? Attorney, go ahead.
You're correct, Jig. Mao mo tayo the last vestige of the mom and pop uh, run teams. Like the other teams were owned by huge corporations, were very efficient, no?
Mm.
And while on the other hand, it was owned by Genie Bus family and
Mm-hmm.
friends. It was run by a select group of friends. I don't. I hear good things about the new owners. I think they own the Dodgers. I hear that they invest a lot in scouting. They invest a lot in personnel. In fact, Kanisia, this is gonna be good for LeBron and Luca because LeBron is safe because this guy has a no trade clause.
Mm.
Okay, he can shut down any trade. Luca doesn't have one. But if Luca will not shape up by these guys will not think uh will not doubt will not they will undoubtedly trade him
Mm.
if he will not shape up. Okay, that's what the Dallas Mavericks did, no?
Mm.
I think it's more of a trend na ni karon. The owners are taking back their teams, no? Like on Denver, what happened to Denver Jig? What ta magtuo ato nga they got rid of Michael Malone,
Mm.
no? And then hasta pud ang kuan ang the team manager. So the owners now want a say. What about I want to know if I'm paying this check,
Mm.
are you worth it?
Mm.
No? So this is good for LA, but dako sa ni siyang implications in terms of personal movement
Mm.
because I don't know who I think everyone but everybody except LeBron and Luka is on the trading block now.
Mm.
Hmm.
Ang unlike kuno baseball, American baseball, which is owned by one of the teams owners of the league. Si LA Dodgers owns the Lakers now, di ba? Kanang grupo ha, tagiya sa LA Dodgers. Kana kunong baseball kuno, more capless man na sila. Ang ilahang spending is sky's the limit, sky's the langit. Unlike
Uh-huh.
baseball ko no kanang NBA naman guni cap, di ba? So kanang cap pasabot
Yes,
niya
yes.
nang dili ka makagasto uh, uh, palabi, di ba? Naagi kutob para to be fair also to the smaller teams, right? Asa kani sila mo kuan sa mo action kaning mga LA Dodgers kung naman gali cap, does that mean that they're gonna have to figure out a way to attract other players? Kay nakinumdum ko nga naglagot kay Kuato gali nga si Kawhi Leonard chose the Clippers instead of the Lakers. Ay kun unsa man lagutan ako atong, but I still remember where I was, man. I was hosting the Danao Spartan race when I heard the news nga kaning wala ni Kawhi did not choose the Lakers and instead chose the Clippers. Si ang Clippers pagigipili of all teams. And I think it was because siguro nga the Clippers was already owned by Steve Ballmer at that time, or they were a bigger, more sexy, more robust corporation compared to the Lakers, who were still owned by the family of the Bus family, right? So
Yes, Jing.
unsa kanila pag-action aning mga the new owners of the team now?
Well, the salary cap is very fair. It applies to all, no? So they will just have to get creative, Jig. It's just a matter of crunching down on the numbers.
Mm.
Asa ka makasave dire. And, but mo lagi na because LeBron is so big, no? He sucks the energy out of the room. I think that for now, wala kayo sila yung mabuhat. I mean, he has a no trade clause. He has the max. And even si Luka. Luka is expected to sign the max this
Mm.
year.
Mm.
No? I mean, it would be foolhardy if they would not give Luka the max, and they. But yeah, at some point they will have to sit down and see kinsay akong pwede ma-trade, who's not safe. But makutaan lang mo, I am curious kanong suko kay kang why did you want Luka to play alongside LeBron?
You mean Kawhi?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kawhi to
Yeah.
play alongside LeBron?
Yeah, I thought that would be interesting. That would have been interesting, right?
Okay, okay. Ako balik ko, I wanted him to play against LeBron
Okay.
because these guys are not friends.
Really
Oh,
now. I mean, maybe that's probably
yeah,
the biggest
yeah,
reason why, siguro sa.
yeah. They've never been.
Wait,
LeBron has a few
time out, time
circle
out,
of
time out,
friends.
time out. Was he already a Laker though?
No,
Si LeBron ba
LeBron.
at this time ba mura pa man
Yeah,
Kobe
yeah, yeah.
Kobe pa ba to
No,
dili
he
na?
was. No, he was a Laker already. He was a
Okay.
Laker already. And then that's why when Kawhi came into LA, the Clippers were like the small brother in the basement. No,
Mm.
everybody forgets. And
Mm.
then I think they had they put up a very nice clip where Kawhi was driving like up down along LA Boulevard, and he had jazz music on. Mura mag there's a new king in LA town. What pa
Correct,
ito
yeah.
ilahang paano to pag abot ni Kawhi ba?
Mm.
Mura they throw a shade at Bron ba nga? There's a new king in town, not you anymore. Kapalingaw ka to.
Yeah.
Mas ganahan kong competition ni Nana Jig. Iko ganahan anang if Kawhi played with LeBron, murag liko na kayo to.
Unfair na, unfair. But we
In
all
a
know,
way, no?
but we all know nga kanang all-star basketball team na Big Three does not guarantee a championship, di ba? I mean, katong Miami Heat, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James was a kind of exception to the rule, di ba? Kadaghanan sa mga Big Three karon dili man mo work. Katong sa Nets lang daan, di ba? Si Harden, KD ug Irving hono naon mo theoretically mura man champion man ni daan ya. Palpak man to, di ba? If you think about it, si
Yeah.
Durant giparisan man na ni Beal, di ba? And they thought nga something would happen to that team, but we all knew nga wa gani depinsang tima. So I don't know, man. Grabe yung kayong luck gyapon mo play og any league, and sayang kayong Indiana para nako nga swerte kay sila sa naabot sila aning level. I think the OKC is different because the OKC were already kaning scratching the top even last year, di ba? They also had the number one record last year, di ba? Napildi lang to sila. Asa sige nakapildi sa OKC galito attorney? Kalimot naman ko last season. Murag Denver to, or Murag Denver to.
One jig kanang to your point katong the last big three. Actually, the last big at work was the Warriors.
Okay.
When they got Kevin Durant, they had Klay Thompson.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So but lately, what na lang ba like I don't know if you can call the Celtics a big three. There's Tatum and but it's still Tatum para nako. So maybe we are seeing a trend away from the big three. The last katong sample is there was Giannis who had Middleton, but I don't think they are a big three with Drew Holiday. And then the Nuggets, you had Jokic and Murray. I don't know if it's a big three with Gordon. I agree ka po mo. Nakawala na yung mga big three. Now with OKC, it's basically SGA. Yeah, it's good in a way. Ang big three man God, it just puts up metric in a sense nga sayo na lang nimo ang scoring or ang foundation, but you still have to go out there and play team basketball. At the end of the day, it's a team game.
Correct, yeah. And usually kanang ang star sa every team is really the usually the older player. The reason for that is mas daghan siya og experience, especially paabot na sa playoffs bitaw. Kaya naman kung, di ba, playoffs, lahi mo na siya nga animal, di ba, from the regular season. O niya, ang importante na experience, magyud-good niya. Kaning doha ka team karon nga atong gitanaw, bago lagi na human, na champion na gyud ang OKC, 103 OKC, Indiana 91. Wa pa gini sila nakatilaw og finals ba. So murag kulba hinam kay ni tanan si Shai, although naabot na ni siya og kaning Western Conference Finals pero wa pa ni siya na NBA Finals, di ba?
Oh, yeah.
Si Shai, di ba?
Jig, kanang, my turn to ask you. You think SGA will become the MVP again? You
You
think he
mean
can
next season?
sustain this momentum niya?
Next season, you mean? Next year? Next season, you mean? Do you think he'll still be the MVP next season? I think um, Luka, if he decides to shape up, and Jokic and the rest of the NBA, I think maglisod na ni siya og maglisod na ni siya og ganing NBA MVP na pod.
Repeat, Jig. You
What
think
what's that?
maglisod siya repeat?
Maglisod siya repeat kay hopefully si Luka will, like you say, shape up. Si Jokic hopefully will probably play at another level. But I'm sure he's still going to be in a top 3 player, si Shai. You know, dili man ka mo unless there's a huge injury, dili man na mo layo sa top 3 ang mga players like that. Plus, pila pag-edad na ni Shai, di ba? Moramnig 27 pa ni siya, di ba?
Yeah. It's good to see Jig bang. Is it changing of the guard basically?
Mm-mm.
Gone are mga silang LeBron, silang Curry, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi, Kevin Durant. I don't know if he can still win, but if he wins one, then but it's not gonna be solely on him anymore.
You know, kinanglan mo gud og kaning di ba kanang itawag tag charisma, kanang transcendental player ba nga nindot kay charisma ba, and the kana silang gisugot niya to ba nga silang Shy, sila ni Tyrese, murag kuwang pa ni sila og kaning seasoning kuwang pa ni sila og charisma. Sa tanaw ko kanang lahi magud na silang, you know, silang Michael Jordan, silang Kobe Bryant, silang LeBron, lahi gid sila og aura bitaw, mura siya lahi gid sila og dinuwaan, not just on the court, and when they're off the court lain pod ilang dating ba niya. Kuya wan ko kani si SGA, nindot flamboyant flamboyant dresser hinon ni si Kuan si kaning Shy, right? But kanay pod si Lucas, tanaw nako, he's a global star, right? And I think the reason for that is bata everybody saw man good him as a kid playing, di ba? Pila pa edad ato niya ni duwa siya murag sa 14 anyos man siguro siya ato ni sa.
Yeah, something like that.
When he played for his country at Tagasa gini si Kuan, si Jokic. Kalimot ko na.
You mean Luka?
Si Luka, si Luka Doncic taga Ukraine ba siya? Dili Ukraine. Anyway, one of the Baltic countries, right? One of the the USSR. Anyway, so kani si Luka, nakakita tani niya as a kid. So murang grabe ang attachment sa kalibutan, and he's actually a global star, they're saying, di ba? Pero kani si Luka dili po ni kayo maayo mo in English, di ba? Mura siya apiki pod ba? Para just like Giannis, di ba? Si Giannis pod murang dili pod kayo kaning kabaw mang hambog ba? Importante man ang hambog good, di ba? Kanang importante na interviewon ka nga kaning para ni Draymond Green ba nga kaning kibawasan mo gitik sa media ba, di ba?
Naasim.
Oh, naabay inana ba? So kanang you know, like si Giannis for example, dili sad maayo. So kadaghanan sa mga maayo nga player karon dili na kaning Amerikano, di ba? Giannis, Greek, si Lucas, kaning
you beat me to it. I was about to say ang Amerikano mo ko namon ko ni hambog, that's all lang hambog Jig. Yeah. SGA is Canadian, right?
Mo ding dili ang bugiro dia.
Oh, di ba? They say stereotype ba the Canadians are very polite.
Correct, yeah.
Di ba? And si Giannis, di pod. So, and then Luka, Slovenia na si
Slovenia.
Si Luka, and then
so muna siya. So
siguro ang last American superstar nimo is bago si Tatum, Jason
Tatum.
But he's also di man siya kuan is very polite and shy. Wala pa kay siya personality ba kana imong gingon.
Correct, yeah. And I think matudlo man siguro na. I think they're being trained for that also. Pero mo lagi usually kung i-train po sa dili mas lab i-train siguro paghambog siguro i-train sila in English and all of that stuff. So we'll see what happens to these young and up and coming stars like Tyrese
Um,
Halliburton and
yeah, but in
Shy.
fairness, ba, yeah, si Steph Curry came into the league very very reserved, no?
Yeah.
It was later on that he came into his own. Even LeBron, in fairness, although nanalo si hambog yun daat,
Mm.
kay iyan na nagong gita to ang chosen one sa iyang, sa iyang torso ba. But LeBron 20 years ago was not, it's not the same LeBron now.
Oh. And you know like
So,
importante lagi na kayo nga kibaw ka mo deal sa media especially with the new media now. I think importante kayo na sa nga i-train gyud nato ang mga players, right? Not just the NBA but any place, especially us here in the Philippines. So, kinahanglan ta maayo mo manipulate sa media ba? Kay kana magong mga sponsor kanang kwarta kung ganahan mo masponsoran, kinahanglan pud ka nga imuhang sponsor maka-benefit pud sa ilang sponsorship, di ba? Niya kung dili ka interesting, dili ka exciting nga player, dili ka maayo manabi, dili ka maayo mo kuan mo attract og crowd, then magliso juga. So importante gyud kayong charisma sa usa ka basketball player or any player for that matter.
agree, Jake, agree. That's a good take.
So ang final score 103-91, 12 puntos ang labaw sa OKC of an anticlimactic ending of the NBA Finals. Anticlimactic because Tyrese Halliburton was injured in the first quarter because of an Achilles heel injury. So let's just hope and pray nga he can play.
Sayang.
He can play soon. I mean, like you said, Kuya Juan, ko itong gisulti nimo kung 6 months ni ang injury, magsugod na ba ang NBA karong usually October or November, the Burr months mas lang magsugod, di ba? So
Yes.
January, June, July, August, dili pa ni makaduwa siguro early siguro si Tyrese. Niya sayang kay momentum niya ba? Sa?
Dili pa nakaduwa. I think makaduwa na siya maybe at the playoffs na po na, Jig.
Oh, kanusa man magsugod ang trading season at trade season di ay kabali pa hapit naman. Magsugod na
Yeah,
mo nang gasugod
they're
na ba?
doing it. They're doing it now. They can do it anytime. Kung may expiring contract, they
Okay.
can renew. Ang bawal na ka na magsugod na ang playoffs and then there's the cut-off.
Mm. Ang draft, humana
I
mang
think
draft sa? Humana bang draft? Ang draft humana, di ba?
wala pa. 2025, Cooper Flag is expected to be the number one draft pick.
Oh. Number one, Dallas mo kuno, tinood ng storya?
Yes, and that's a very scary prospect, Jig. Huh? Cooper Flag is like Larry Bird 2.0.
Wow.
He can do it all. He's 6'9", can dunk, can defend, can shoot,
Ang
can
iyang
pass
EQ,
the ball.
ang iyang EQ, may na siya guan kaning may na siya IQ sa basketball.
Yeah, you pair him with Anthony Davis,
Mm.
and then Kyrie.
Mm.
Wow.
Mafia
I can,
mafia man kuno ni siya nga pag trade kuno ni Luka Doncic kuno sa ni Luka Doncic Luka Doncic lagi kaning nakuha na nila ang number one draft pick.
Yeah, I heard that conspiracy theory, Jig, muna ito nga, somebody kono said, sige, you trade Luka, kay we'll make sure you get
Number one draft
Flag.
pick. Anyway,
If only.
napildi man imo ang team. How do you feel about the loss of the NBA? Before I let you go, tell everybody how you feel about the results of the NBA Finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder clinching their first ever championship against the Indiana Pacers 103-91. Go ahead, attorney.
Of course, I feel disappointed, especially with the way it ended. I always said that I am pro Game 7. I don't even care who wins. I just love the competition.
Mm.
It's a pity that they lost Hallie in the first quarter to an injury. But those are the breaks of the game. Pun intended, no?
Mm.
He broke his Achilles, and then sometimes you just have to live with it. That's why it's a 12-man roster. You're supposed to have a very good team. That's why it's a team game, no? You're not supposed to rely on one superstar. So Pacers fans, it is what it is, and I'm glad that if there was anybody who deserved this championship, it's the OKC Thunder. They played well all season. They had the best scorer in the league. He was the top scorer. They had the MVP of the league, and now he's also the MVP of the finals series. So they're very deserving of this. As you said, they were top seed last year. So hinug na kayo ni OKC. I'm very happy for them, and the sky's the limit for this very young, talented team, Jake.
And I guess the lesson here is you can probably sneak your way into the NBA Finals, but Slick Rick, you can't slick your way into the championship, right, and to the crown. So, nice try, Rick Carlisle, but let's try to do it again next season.
Yeah, Jake,
Okay.
parting shot, I owe you. Napildi ra ba ko, but di lang ato isulti on kaya sa akong utang nimo.
Sultihan lang to ko na imo. Ako na imong kidney, ah.
Which one, left or right?
Tanaw na to, less alcohol. Ako pilian lang. less San Miguel beer. Ako lang pilian. Unsa imong article rong umaabot nga Domingo ba na magawa sa imong the last round? Go ahead.
I'm gonna do a recap of the finals, Jig, and then also for our boxing fans out there, don't forget karong Sunday po ang dula ni Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar
Okay.
Chavez Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting fight between a pseudo fighter
Pseudo
and
fight.
a son of a legend who has lost his way. He's been out of shape, but he has the pedigree. He has the physical tools, but he's not been training. He's a very lazy kid. So very interesting. Two different prisms now when you look at it, but it all boils down to execution on the fight night.
You still consider Paul Jake a non-serious boxer, attorney, in spite of the fact that he has played so many great fighters. You still look at him as a pseudo fighter?
I'm leaning not towards considering him a legit fighter. I'm waiting for his performance against Julio Jr. because Julio Jr. will be the first legit fighter he will have faced, except with because he faced the brother of katong heavyweight champion si Tyson.
Okay. Go on, Tyson.
No, Tyson, the other one, the 6'9" giant ba? Kanong si the British guy ba? Oh, ang brother man ato niya mo gilupig niya ni
Okay. Katong doktor?
No, gilupig ni Paul.
So
that's the only.
So kani si Chavez Jr. active player pa ni siya.
No, he's been Tyson Fury, Tommy Fury Jig.
Okay.
Tommy Fury ang iyang gipildi, brother of Tyson Fury.
Okay.
So that was the only legit fighter nga iyang gidula, no.
Okay.
And kani si Chavez has been inactive for a long time, no?
Okay.
But hopefully kung tarong na ni siya karon, maulaw sa kasi imong papa nga si the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Asa man kamo tanaw aning duha ang inani awaya attorney nani sa Netflix kay kani si Paul Jake social media influencer ba ni siya asam ni siya kay nato yung mga kaigsuunan nga ganahan mo tanaw ani sa ilahang mga smart TVs asa ka ni tanaw natong duha would you know?
This time around is on Netflix, Jake. I guess you guys just have to mo naman ni ang medium karon is just you have to buy individually on your phone.
Okay. Pero you've seen how did you watch the Paul Jake games before? Jake Paul games before?
Katong iyahang kuan because he was not a very big name fighter before. Remember he's a YouTuber.
Yeah, okay. So YouTube.
Yung previous fights were on YouTube.
Yeah, free ra siya.
And, yeah, initially nakaroon katong yung biggest fight in Netflix mo man to last niya but ang the Tyson fight, remember that? The Mike Tyson fight, that was a Netflix. But that's not available for this Chavez fight.
Okay, well ato nang pangitaag paagi maybe kung naa kay informasyon kaning attorney i-message lang ako asa nato makita ning Jake Paul versus Julio Chavez Jr. fight which is happening this Sunday. Buntag ni siya?
Ako lang lagi ko ni mo Jake ang ako ang secret links.
Okay, secret links.
Dila na ko on air.
Okay. Nada kay mga secret link dia. Na buha nga. Sige, so magawas na karong Domingo sa inyong article nga the last round, right?
Yeah. Yes, Jake.
So daghang salamat nimo di attorney. I hope
you, my friend.
you'll have a great day, and I hope to see you soon in person. Maybe we can do this show one of these days in person. Maybe we'll talk about the beginning of the NBA season, or maybe another trade will happen and all of that stuff. Daghang salamat, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Double J with attorney Jingo Quijano.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week ahead, Jake. Bye-bye.
You do the same. Thank you so much. Ang atuang takna karon 27 minutos nang milabay sa alas 11. Magbantay-bantay mo sa Ultra Libakera. Basig dili mo libakon lang. Lifrant gyud mo. Wilfredo